We're John and Carol Prazynksi. We're the Gold Star family of Lance Corporal Taylor Prazynksi, who was killed in Iraq May 9th of 2005. We're originally from the greater Cincinnati area. I served in the United States Air Force from 1980 to 1989. And Taylor was born in the Air Force Hospital, the medical center there at Hill Air Force Base, November 12th of 1984. Well, when Taylor was in high school, we basically had a conversation with him about, what are you going to do after high school? And he decided that he definitely wanted to join the military and do his part. Right about graduation time, he came to us and he said, I definitely want to be a Marine. We blessed his decision, and he was assigned to the 3rd Battalion, 8th Marine Regiment. And the 3rd Battalion, 8th Marine Regiment had already deployed to Haiti to be a peacekeeping force.
Then I get selected for recruiting duty. I was recruited in the greater Cincinnati area. Finished my 3 years there, and back to the Fleet Marine Force I went. I was back probably 3 or 4 days, and they're like, hey, Sergeant Deeds, you're gonna go over to the School of Infantry and pick up a group of Marines. So, and one of those Marines happened to be Taylor Prazynksi.
When he got back from Haiti in '04, they started a workup to prepare to go to Iraq in '05. In the time that he was deployed to Iraq, we talked to him as often as we could when he called. And then in May of '05, they were in arrears of an operation called Operation Matador, as I understand it. And they had taken a farmhouse as an operational post, and they were changing positions, standing watch, and just as he and another Marine by the name of Marcus Made were crossing, a mortar had been fired and it hit, and 4 Marines went down and 4 Iraqi soldiers went down, and unfortunately Taylor was killed. Very early on May 10th, we got a knock on our door from 2 Marines in their Class A uniforms, and as soon as I opened the door, they didn't need to say a word, and we got the worst news of our life. Then fast forward a couple years, we had a friend of ours who was a food broker, and he had a company that they did a luncheon for their employees once a year. So Sam was there representing a veteran group. We were there representing a veteran group. So we got to talking and realized that we had met a year or so before that at a concert called the Freedom Concert, but we didn't have much time to talk there, and then realized that Sam Deeds was with the 3rd Battalion, 8th Marine Regiment, also worked in the Fairfield recruiting station when Taylor got recruited. Then we discovered that he was the NCOIC that took the group from School of Infantry.
Yeah, March 20th, we went up to set up a vehicle checkpoint just to the west of Abu Ghraib prison. As we're approaching the checkpoint, there was 2 rock piles, one on each side of the road, that weren't there earlier that day. So I stopped everybody, went up and searched the rock piles with a flashlight. Didn't see anything, still didn't feel comfortable, so we went down around it, set up on the other side, and I forgot my own cue. As we were getting set up, I hear a noise behind me, and it's 2 of my Marines entering the danger area, so I went back to tell them that there was a possible IED in the road to turn around and run, get out of there. Once they cleared the danger area, I turned, and the device was detonated. And it ended up being a 155 shell on each side of the road, which is basically 6 to 8 inches at the base and about 2 feet long, and it was just packed full of whatever. When I came to, I was 25 feet from where I was standing initially. I remember my corpsman grabbing me, pulling me out of the road, sticking me with morphine, and then the next thing I remember, I'm waking up in the hospital at Abu Ghraib. The recovery process was pretty long. A year and a half later, I was told that I couldn't be in the Marine Infantry anymore. That's all I'd known at that point for 9 years. That's all I wanted to do. But they told me I could still be a Marine. So I looked at my options, and the one I decided on was to be a V-22 mechanic. So I went and worked over there for my last 5 years in the Marine Corps before I was medically retired. After 30 plus surgeries, the Navy and the Marine Corps found it fit that I was healthy enough to be discharged, and they medically retired me. I get home in 2011, and then I was invited to speak on for a veteran nonprofit at a luncheon in Cincinnati and this lady said, "We have another special guest here today." And I saw a gentleman that looked semi-familiar to me, and he came up to introduce himself. He goes, "Oh, my name is John." I said, "Mr. Prazynksi." I said, "I know who you are." I said, "My name is Samuel Deeds. I served with 3rd Battalion 8th Marines. I was with the Kilo Company." I said, "I knew your son."
About a year or so later, I get a call from David Hart, and he says, "John, can you call some Purple Hearts and some Gold Star families and ask them to come on a Wednesday morning at 0600 and skydive and ride in a balloon?" And I said, "Yes, sir, of course I will."
I get a phone call from John, and he says, "Sam, the skydive team wants to do a PR thing for the Ohio Challenge. They want a Purple Heart recipient to skydive. Do you want to do it?" I'm like, "Skydive? Yeah, not a problem." So I came up, did a skydive with him, and since that day we've remained friends and become family.
When we introduced Sam to the Hearts, they embraced him and made him part of their family. And Sam ended up taking a job with them, and now he's part of their ground safety crew and travels the world with Team Fast Tracks.
The relationship with the Prazynskis, like I said, has become more of a family. Especially, Carol didn't understand that I knew Taylor the way I knew him. She thought I just served, alongside him in 3/8, and then she found out, and I think it meant a lot more to her of who I was. So we do, John, every now and again, we're both big Ultimate Fighter fans, so he'll have UFC fight night at his house. Bring a dish, come on out, bring whoever you want. So probably 3 or 4 times a year, I'm at his house doing fight night. We do a lot with the Blue Skies for the Good Guys Warrior Foundation, for the Team Fast Tracks Warrior We Can Remember. The healing process, I think for the both of us, understanding, like I said, we were brothers, and we may not be blood, but we were brothers. We both signed our name on the line to defend the freedoms, and we understood the risks. And I've gained a new family through them.
Taken every opportunity to tell Taylor's story, because we're not making new memories with him. We don't want his memories that we have with him to fade. So if we don't tell his story, how are we going to remember? And to be a part of something like this, they're making sure that he's not forgotten. But it's not just Taylor, and it's important to us that it's not just Taylor, that it's the other Gold Star families. And it's not just important to us that we get to hang out with Sam Deeds. It's the other Warriors too, and Sam recognizes that.